welcome to this week's episode of Nysis Contention. Welcome to the initiative order as well, in case you didn't know what channel you were on. Just kidding. We know that we're your favorite channel. I am your GM for this evening. I'm Pond, and we're just so excited that you're here to enjoy this wonderful game with us. Before we get into things and I introduce everybody, we're going to give a quick shout out to our wonderful sponsors that help us and help you. So we've got lots of discounts and stuff. First, we have Session Zero Clothing, makers of amazing D&D inspired streetwear. If you use the code ORDER, O-R-D-E-R, at checkout, you'll get 15% off your whole basket, which is wonderful. Next up is Norse Foundry, makers of beautiful artisan dice. Use the code TIO15, TIO15 for, you guessed it, 15% off your order. Next we have Roaming Player Gear with the code Carnaby20 to get 20% off their Dice Tower and Tray combo set. We also have the wonderful Mithril Armory, the creators of the Tin D20 and the Sketch Dice. If you use code INITIATIVE, you get 10% off their whole website. And because I do it every time, in case you're not tired of me yet, here's some D20s that are made of tin, and they're super cool. Surprise, it's the musical episode. Just kidding. No, it's not. Please don't make me do that. We also, this week, are working with Roll vs. Evil. They're a new initiative to give our gaming community a way to support small groups and charities working directly on the ground where we can see verifiable and immediate results and know that we are changing lives. Roll vs. Evil's first campaign is in support of the people who are suffering from the invasion of Ukraine. So if you want to tip them, I'm pretty certain that there is a chat command for that. I'll double check on that and make sure that we get you guys the right one so I don't mess it up. Before I turn this over to the players, I just want to remind you that we are a proud ambassador of Jaspers Game Day, a nonprofit organization, charity trying to raise awareness and help prevent teenage suicide. So please check out their website for details and assistance. Now, let's get introduced to our lovely characters for this evening. We will start with Corey.
Hello, I'm Corey. I use she, they pronouns. You can find me on Twitter at lovedays_. That's L-O-V, by the way. And tonight I will be playing Helene Venreese, our half-elf rogue mastermind, question mark? Yeah, not doing a whole lot right now because senior year is tough, you guys. But you can find me here every other Wednesday.
I love it. Thank you so much. Let's go to Carly.
That caught me off guard. Hello. I'm Carly. I use any pronouns. I am at CarlyBug on everything without the A because it was taken. I say that every time. It's fine. I'm playing Kyceris Johnson, the little southern wizard. She's a half elf, and yeah, you can find me here right now. I'm not doing much else either. I have more things coming up, but I'm here for now. So
Oh, we love having you here. Let's go to Andy.
Hello, everyone. I am Andrew J. Landy, also known as Duralath. Now, you can find me on the internet, Instagram and Twitter, at Andrew J. Landy. Tonight, playing the role of Antrell Bradbury, our lovable human fighter, meat slasher, probably going through a crisis of identity right now. But excited to be here. You find me here every other Wednesday, and again, just happy to be here with everybody.
We love you and your emotional crisis. Last but certainly not least, Billy.
Hi there, I am Billy Seguir, he, him pronouns. I play Duncan Longleat, our friendly neighborhood Dhampir paladin, with a big smile on his face right below the mustache. You might know me from some other places like my old podcast, Scooby Doos or Scooby Don'ts, where my partner Amelia reviewed so many episodes of Scooby Doo. So many. There were so many episodes, and they still continue to make more. My God. I also wrote a book about Doctor Who last year with the Black Archive from Obverse Books. You can buy that. It's available as the Black Archive number 54, Dalek, and you can probably guess which episode that was about. And mostly excited to play. It's been a week, and I got dice to roll.
I got dice to roll. I love it. Also, it's a great book. You should check it out. And hello, I am Pond. Pond plays games on Instagram. I use they, them pronouns. And you can find me in a lot of places. You can find me Monday night over on Feywild and Out, where I run a campaign. For those lovely people, you can find me starting the first Tuesday of April, which is next week. Oh boy. Where I am over at Architect Loom playing a brand new character for a very brand new long format campaign. You can find me here every other Wednesday running this lovely group of people for the next 3 sessions, guys. 1, 2, 3 before I go on maternity leave. So, we will be taking a short break for a little while, but we will be coming back, and we will be coming back with a vengeance. It's going to be absolutely lovely, and we love to see it. You can also find me the first Wednesday of every month over on Blackwater D&D, where I play Linus Grimm, the middle child of the Grimm brothers, and it's a great time. But all of that aside, let's watch our lovely intro, guys. And we're back. Hello, everybody. We are going to just jump right on into things. Do any of my lovely players want to recap? Cool. I'll do it. Last time on Nysis Contention, our wonderful players sat outside of the encampment, the supply line encampment that they had just raided and sacked for information, going over the letters that they had recovered. Each person read a different letter, and all of the letters were extremely impactful. Most of them were just letters from family or to family from the people who were stationed at this encampment. There was one letter detailing some of the troop movements, but I think that the party came to realize that they might not be working for the good guys in this situation. Duncan, having known that pretty much all along, because he doesn't trust the government, was like, yep, this is war, kids, while everyone else had an emotional breakdown. The party then left the woods, traveled back to the road where they were came upon by a small dwarven woman named Lexi, who was driving a supply cart by herself. She invited the party on board, where they sat and chatted with her. Duncan lied and said that they were heading to Kalpischbach for family. She saw through that ruse, but invited them on board anyways. In the back of the wagon, the rest of the party discovered what appeared to be a partially dismantled warforged. Having a conversation about this warforged quite loudly through the cloth coverings of this wagon, both Lexi and Duncan were aware that they had uncovered it. Duncan, who was quite tired from his watch the night before, fell asleep in the back of the wagon with the thought that we were heading straight for Kalpischbach. However, the party agreed to help Lexi traverse the roads and make it to a place called Camp Nourishment, which is a relatively well-hidden warforged camp for those warforged who are wishing to escape the war and find peace. We come to with the party still in the wagon. It is nighttime now outside. You've been traveling for quite some time. And Duncan, you wake, feeling much better. The rest of the party had enough time to rest themselves, feeling, a little bit of spring in their step, maybe a little bit more powerful. Duncan, as you awake, you're sort of woken by the jostling of the uneven road. It doesn't feel like the same kind of road that you were on when you fell asleep. This one feels like a lot more bumpy and, uneven. You sort of jostle into the warforged body that is underneath the tarp in the back. And what do you do upon waking?
I think if I'm feeling that, I would realize we're not on the road to Kalpischbach anymore.
That is pretty safe to say.
And is anyone else awake, or is it just me?
Is anyone else awake, or is it just Duncan? I feel like everyone else would probably be sleeping off their emotional damage, except for maybe Antrell, who would still be staring at the moon.
I imagine I'm still awake because I'm keeping watch to make sure the carriage arrives safely.
Okay. So, where are you sitting on the carriage?
I'm still sitting, I think last I remember I was sitting up front with Lexi, so I would still be up there.
Okay, so I would probably then be poking my head out front to where Antrell and Lexi are.
Yeah. As you poke your head out front, you notice that you are on... It's almost like a game path. It's very narrow. The wagon fits, but just barely. Lexi's got a couple of lanterns lit up ahead, attached to the front of the wagon, and she's going very slowly. And she's got sort of like a map out in her lap. Antrell, you've been helping her navigate for the last hour or so, following this game trail. You've discovered in this time that Camp Nourishment isn't a well-known camp. A lot of people desire Warforged on their side when it comes to this war, and it's not super well known. They try to keep a low profile.
What happened to Kalpischbach? Where are we headed?
We needed, well, Kalpischbach, we're going to make our way there, but I figured it would be best if we made sure this carriage got to where it needed to be before anything happened. We did promise them that, or at least I did. Are you rested, Duncan?
Yes, much better.
Good. I don't... This shouldn't put us too far off of our path, but we owe it to this lady, and... Well... Yeah, well, I'll leave it at that.
All right, because, we are expected back at one point.
Don't worry too much. I promise it'll be a short stop. We're just taking him you know, I've heard that Camp Nourishment has the ability to fix his chest. They're so, you know, your friends while you were sleeping offered to sort of help escort me. I'm not used to driving this far into the woods by myself.
Right. Well, if the decision's been made, then
I'm quite grateful, truly.
I'll be in the back. I go and nestle myself back in.
So as you nestle yourself back in, go ahead and make me, we'll say, a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. 18.
Wonderful. So as you're stepping back, like sort of stepping back through and trying to step over the Warforged, your foot sort of catches on like an indentation under the tarp, but you're able to step back and over it, and the tarp sort of falls away, and you're able to see the full body of this creature. Go ahead and make me a perception check.
That will be a 8.
8. So looking at this,
Dark.
it is dark. You have dark vision. Looking at this, he is very large. He's quite a large being. You do see that there's like a small compartment area that's been sort of like dented in the front of his chest, and it looks like that's almost what you stepped on. You didn't make the dent.
Right.
The amount of metal that is on this creature's body, you know, you wouldn't be able to make that dent with your foot. But it is sort of dented in a little bit, and that's sort of what you stepped into as you almost tripped.
So that's what you're missing, is it? What? Well, I guess we'll get you where I can fix you up.
Go ahead and make me an intelligence check. Just a flat intelligence or insight.
I think both are going
The same.
to be. What's it's my intelligence to be +1. For a total of 9.
9. I love it. So with a 9, yeah, he's missing his heart, and you know, that's sort of the core. You can sense with a 9. That's sort of like the core of the creature. And from the front, you hear Lexi's like, "Oh, try not to step on him, love. I know that he's not awake just yet, but you know, he's still a person back there."
Right. No, wasn't trying to step on him. Just kind of tripped.
It's crowded back there. We should be, according to the map, we should be coming up on the camp here pretty soon. Probably hopefully another 20 minutes or so. Yeah, Helene and Kai are sort of like curled up in a corner of the cart against some of the medical supplies.
Also Prince.
And Prince, yeah. Prince is
Still
actually
avoiding you.
I would imagine we're using like Prince as like
As
our
a
pillow.
Hello, yeah.
Yeah, Prince actually has his head though draped over the leg of the Warforged. So you're using him as a pillow, but he has his head sort of draped over the leg of the Warforged, like he's comfortable with this creature. It's about 20 minutes go by. It's a very bumpy ride, and it is dark outside. You can tell that Lexi, although fine on roads, is struggling a little bit with the horses on this trail. And as you approach Antrel, you start to see sort of the flicker of light through the trees. And Lexi looks over to you and she goes, "Oh, I think we're coming up on it. I'm not certain how how happy they'll be to see us. I wasn't able to send word ahead of time, but hopefully they'll be able to fix our friend here. So if you could just, everybody stay calm if they approach. And go ahead and make me an insight check, Antrell.
12.
She's afraid. Up until this point, you haven't really seen her be afraid. You've seen her be curious, and you've seen her be suspicious a little bit, but loving and welcoming, and never afraid when referencing Warforged. But she's a little bit nervous, and you see that she's sort of starting to white knuckle the reins of the cart. And as you approach, sort of from the trees, you hear this very deep voice from off to the right, and he goes, "Who approaches Camp Nourishment? Be ye friend or be ye foe?"
My lady, what?
Oh, all right, I'll do this then.
Sure.
And she said, I befriend. I've got one of yours, and he appears to be needing quite a bit of help. It's taken me quite some time to get here, and I'm not sure how you are, but I'd really appreciate it if you could, my name's Lexi, and from the trees, you see this absolutely gargantuan Warforged. He's probably about 6'8", 6'9", and it's hard to see in the dark, but just the metal and wood wraps up around his chest, and you see a faint glow in his eyes. And he looks at you, Antrell, and at Lexi, and he goes, "I am Nero. Bring the cart in, but be wary, we are many." And he sort of walks out ahead of the cart, but, keeps looking back at you. And Lexi sort of goes, "All right, then. They are many. Here we go." And she sort of, steels herself and, flicks the reins, and the horses sort of roll forward. And as you roll forward into camp, it becomes quickly apparent that the "we are many" statement was a lie. This camp is quite small. There is one sort of stable building towards the back of the camp against the tree line that looks like it's been built out of salvaged wood with sort of greenery for a roof. There are 5 tents sort of off to the left side, with one bigger tent up near the building. There's a couple of wagons, and that's all you can really see from the light that's currently available. But Nero steps out in front of the cart, and he goes, "Hold, please. Show me the broken one." And Lexi goes, "All right then." And she sort of hops off, and she goes around to the back, and she opens up the curtains, and she goes, "Before, I've got others back here as well, but they're all friendly. They helped me on this quest here. Please, we mean you no harm." And then she looks right at you, Duncan, and she's like... And Duncan, for the first time, you see this massive Warforged come around the corner. He has to stoop to look underneath the wagon, and he immediately dismisses you, sort of waves a hand aside, and he starts to reach into the back of the wagon to pull the Warforged body out of the way.
No, that's why we're here.
I'm scooting out of the way if I'm in the way.
Yeah, you guys have awoken now. I feel like
Yeah.
you woke up to just this giant Warforged leaning over you.
And I just...
Not your Phil.
And he pulls this body, and then as he pulls it out, he sort of wraps his arm underneath, and he cups it, and the way that he holds the body is so gentle. And he looks down, And he says, "Oh, my child, you have been so damaged. I hope we have what you can need." And he starts to walk off towards the building at the back of the encampment. And he looks back to the 5 of you, Lexi included, and he says, "Follow then, if you are friend."
Right on his heels. This is the most fascinating thing Kai has ever seen.
Lexi looks terrified, but she starts to follow.
I'm not sure if that was a follow if you want or follow to prove your friend. So I think we should probably all follow.
Need to go. I think that's going to be the best idea, to be honest.
Antrell is going to walk right next to Lexi and place a hand on her shoulder as they walk. And he's placing a hand on her shoulder to sort of help steady her and also somewhat to steady himself, because he has no fucking clue what's going on now. Yeah. So
as you place your hand on her shoulder, you feel her shoulder relax just a little bit. You make your way across the yard, and his steps are almost thunderous as he walks. He's very heavy. And he sort of pushes a curtain aside, and as you enter this building, it looks like a small hospital is the closest that you would be able to describe it. There are 4 Warforged who are in sort of beds, like they look like they've been put together, and there are no extra beds, but there's a table, and he gently lays the Warforged body on the table, and he starts to look over him, and he looks up at you, and he says, "Apologies. Welcome to Camp Nourishment."
Are the other Warforged, are they like conscious?
They are they're not in as bad of shape as this one is, but they all look very, like one of them is missing an arm, one of them, their head, like the attachments of the head to the rest of the body is not quite connected, but there are lights in their eyes. And as Niru starts to sort of go over this Warforged, he gets to the chest plate and he pulls the chest plate open and he goes, "Oh, my friend, you have no soul." And he turns to Lexi and the rest of you and he goes, "We can keep him here, but I have no way of fixing him."
What is
It is
the soul?
the stone.
Sorry, that was...
And he pulls open his chest plate, and it opens much easier than this one's did. And you see this glowing stone. Duncan, it looks extremely familiar to you. You see a glowing stone, and he goes, "This is where we derive our power." And then he closes his chest piece back up. "I do not have these on hand. They are very hard to come by."
Prince, come here.
Prince comes trotting up all happy, wagging his little butt.
I assume he still has his favorite toy.
He does. He absolutely has your duffel bag. Yeah, he's got it in his head. Like, mm-hmm.
Right. So I know it's kind of more yours now, but I just have. If I could just.
Prince.
And then he sort of like sets it on the ground, and he walks over to the table and he sort of starts sniffing at the Warforged on the table and kind of whining a little bit.
So what I do is I would like to reach into my duffel bag and pull out the rune stone that I got from the king's treasury.
He looks at it and he goes,
"So it's
that may work. I have
This was part of the King of Kelpish Botch's arcane treasury.
That makes sense given his alliances. They have been trying to recreate us for years. And he reaches forward and he just says, "May I?"
Then I think about what our group did a couple days ago.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
Thank you. You have saved this one's life. And he takes it in his giant hands, and he's so gentle with it. And he turns and he sets the stone sort of off the side to the table, and he uses his hands to sort of wrench the chest plate of this Warforged a little bit straighter so that it sits a little bit nicer and it's not quite as dented. And then he looks to you and he goes, "Would you like to see some magic?" And you can see, like, it's hard because they don't have emotive faces, but you can see the lights in his eyes are glowing just a little bit brighter than they were. And he picks up the stone and he gently sets it to rest in the chest of this Warforged and closes the plate. And you see as the light from the stone begins to pulsate like a heartbeat through the chest of this Warforged. And we'll bring our guest on. Welcome in, Logan. Hello. Really
everybody.
quick, my friends, we have a guest this episode.
tight.
Another one. Go ahead and introduce yourself real quick, and we will get back to the RP. Who are you? Where can we find you? What are you doing here?
Yeah, I'm Logan Hanley. I am the innkeeper over at the Red Hair Inn. I'm the dungeon master of the Echorim Expeditions. You can find us on all the socials at the Red Hair Inn. Yeah, happy to be here. Happy to be this. See how wonderful of a Warforged they are. But yeah,
I'm so excited. Thank you so much for being here as well and being our guest. So the light pulsates through the body of this Warforged, and you watch as it sort of trickles out to the extremities, and the extremities start to sort of click themselves back together where they were dismantled. All of the dents and scrapes were still there, but the light creeps up their neck and into their eyes. And could you please, how does Ormur respond to being reawoken?
yeah. So his life immediately gets coursed through him. You could hear kind of all the bells and whistles and cogs starting to kind of move and shift. You see different pinpoints of light kind of shoot to each of his extremities. To one leg, you see this almost white, like faint whitish blue light go down to the foot, and then his foot immediately turns to ice. The other foot, you see this red color go down to the foot, and it just bursts into flame. His right arm, you see almost like a vaporous green go through it, and where the hand is kind of opens up, and you can kind of see as like a green mist starts to come from it. And then where his left arm is, it's actually broken and cut off. He doesn't have a left arm, but you can see where the veins are coming through this more of like neon green as acid starts to spurt out. And then finally this blue light comes up from the heart and comes up through the throat, and the mouth just drops open, and a giant bolt of lightning comes shooting up through the sky.
And you see Nero sort of puts a protective arm in front of the rest of you and pushes you back, and he puts his other arm on your chest, and he goes, "Easy, child. You are safe. Take a breath."
Where am I?
You are in Camp Nourishment. This is a respite, a safe place from the war. Your friends brought you. And he gestures at everyone. Ormir, you see the party. Go ahead and describe yourselves, guys. We'll start with Duncan.
You see Duncan. He is a man of average height with a scruffy brown hair and a thick push broom mustache. He's wearing kind of shabby-looking linen clothes, a bit salt-stained. The sleeves just like rolled up to his elbows.
Antra?
Antrell is a well-built man who has medium-length black hair, olive skin. He's wearing dark red and black armor, and you see that he does carry his weaponry on him. His hand hasn't left his left hand hasn't left his longsword where it remains sheathed, and there's a longbow on his back, and you can see there's considerable wear on his armor, thanks to all the fighting that they've been doing. He stands about roughly just under 6 feet tall, and he's completely shocked at what's going on right now.
Helene?
Yeah, Helene is about 5'3", very, very pale, wears a very nice dress, and both of her arms are covered with like gloves, lots of jewelry, that sort of thing, sort of shoulder length white hair. And at this moment in time, looking at this Warforged, very clearly not in the present, like has zoned out for whatever reason.
Kaiseris?
Yeah, so Kai is about 5'8". She's kind of slender. She looks like she probably could use to eat a little bit more. And she has kind of purple hair that's grown out a little bit more. You can see at the roots, it shows a little bit more dark brown than it did probably a few months ago to everyone else, a few weeks ago, whatever, however long it's been.
It's been a couple weeks.
Couple weeks. And she's wearing a black kind of fitted embroidered tunic, and she's got a rapier at her side, and she has really big round gold glasses.
And
it's just so fascinated.
Yeah, I imagine. And standing sort of off to the side, you also see a small dwarven woman. She looks a little bit older, perhaps like middle-aged dwarven woman. Her clothes are very raggedy. She's got sort of long red hair with streaks of like silver. You can see starting to come through that she's got braided to the side. Silver and white, more white than silver. And she's crying. She's just got tears streaming down her face, and she's holding her hands. And let's see. Go ahead and make me a history check, Ormir. We'll see DC 10.
Yeah, first roll.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hey, I'm proficient in that. Hey, natural 20 for a 25.
Nice. I love
take
that.
that.
This is Lexi. This is the woman who welcomed you off of the boat into Little Lordaeron, who sort of sheltered you from the people who tried to attack you when you first arrived. She's the person who sat with you when you malfunctioned and who didn't seem like she was afraid when you randomly shot lightning bolts out of your mouth. She is the one who also helped dismantle you to hide you in the back of her cart, and she is sobbing tears of joy seeing you awake again.
I'll stand up, and as I do, my armor kind of starts shifting as the plates are now starting to kind of form. And you can see brass scales that are kind of trimmed and detailed in bronze start to emblazon themselves across the armor. And I'll kneel down and just kind of put my one arm that's still functioning up to her. And thank you for getting me here. I couldn't have done it without you.
Oh, and she just throws her arms around your neck. and she's crying, and she hugs you so tight, and she pulls back and she holds you by the face, and she goes, "What's your name, honey?"
Designation Ormer Dragonfall.
Ormer. What a beautiful name. And she like kisses your forehead, and she turns to the rest of you and she goes, "Thank you so much for helping. I didn't think he'd come back, and this is nigh on the first person I feel like I've really saved today, so thank you." What do the rest of you do? Watching this heartfelt reunion here.
I'm going to insight check on Lexi.
Yeah, go for it. What are you inciting? What are you looking for?
Well, first of all, it's going to be a 17.
Ooh, okay.
And what's on Duncan's mind right now is what happened to his original core?
Ooh. Let's see. Are you asking any questions while you're doing this? That's a very specific thing to try and insight from someone's face and body language.
I'm looking. I don't necessarily want to interrupt this moment.
Okay.
But I am looking for perhaps senses of guilt or fear at him
Okay.
being awake again.
You are getting guilt, looking at her face, but with a 17, I'll tell you that the guilt doesn't come from Ormer. It comes from losing someone that she couldn't save.
Okay.
If you want to know what happened to the original core, that is a question that you will have to ask.
Okay.
But you're not getting a sense of...
This is just a purely wholesome moment that non-wholesome Duncan is
taking
a moment to misinterpret.
Non-wholesome Duncan took a moment to misinterpret
right.
this purely wholesome, this touching moment between someone who loves someone else very much. You do get the sense of guilt, but it's probably stems from the fact that she seems to love Ormer like a child, and there's some guilt from that.
Say, upon seeing Ormir and seeing just everything, Helene probably like took a step back,
Mm-hmm.
and then seeing like the arm or the lack thereof, like took several steps back until she's like out of the tent.
Okay, so you're outside.
Outside.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me a perception check while you're outside of the tent.
Aye, Captain. That's an 8.
An 8. Awesome. So inside of the tent, Ormer, how tall are you?
Ormer's, I don't know, probably fairly short. He's just below, or at least for a Warforged, just below like 6 foot, like 5'10", 5'11".
Okay, perfect. So Niru towering over you, he looks at you and he says, "Would you like to meet your siblings?" And he gestures at the Warforged in the beds.
I would very much so, yes. What is your designation and function?
Oh, we don't do those anymore. trying to assimilate to more human tendencies. So we've named ourselves instead of having designations. I suppose, the captain of this camp, Niru. The other healthy ones are Uvnax and Galgil. Here, and he gestures at the beds, he says, Zipol, Kina, Cobro, and Eruba. But they're not fully functioning.
Were they missing a core as well?
Not cores, just damaged. Trying to get parts here is difficult.
Down at my arm and just kind of nod. If you do not have a function, how do you go about? And you can tell, like, he's like, there's this moment of like gears turning and like processing and stopping and like clicking. I don't understand.
We are building a home. Come. And he'll sort of start to take you all outside. He gestures at the rest of you, like, please. And he takes you outside and he grabs a torch because he knows that he's pretty certain that there's some of you that can't see. I don't even remember if Warforged have dark vision.
Let's see. Hang on. I don't think so.
No,
I don't
okay.
have dark vision.
Cool.
Nope.
So he grabs a torch because he can't see.
I'm gonna open up my hand and like a little tube will pop out, and I'm just gonna get a little bit of like, just like a tiny, not necessarily like a torch, but like 5-foot flame.
Nice little light.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh, proficient. Very good. You are working." And he sort of walks out into the middle of this very, very small encampment that you haven't seen yet. And you see the tents and sort of like this ramshackle building that you were just in. There's a couple of campfires with like wooden hewn tables. Helene, everyone comes out of the tent and you're sort of just standing outside. What are you doing as they come out of the tent, out of the building?
I think he's just standing there.
Okay.
Not registering anything. Like, face is just blank. And I mean, like, Helene's pale, but like you can tell, like, even paler than usual.
Concern. If anyone would like to make an insight check on Helene, they're more than welcome to. Especially those of you that know her, you can.
Yeah, I was
gonna
say, can I make it?
Could I do a general vibe check for oh gosh, the uwu in your name is throwing me off. God.
Change your names, everybody, so that he knows who you are.
Antrell.
For Antruwu.
Antruwu. I was just
I got
what's
you.
the back half of his name?
Yeah, you can do a vibe check insight for Antrell. Yeah, what are you just trying to see what his deal is?
He has his hand on his weapon. Knowing my past prior to being dismantled.
Yeah.
I want to see if there's any blatant distrust toward me or like any sort of like he's acting defensive because of actions I had already taken.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and roll me a vibe check. Love that.
Vibe check? 16 vibe check.
16. Are you proficient in vibe, good sir?
You vibe very well.
I vibe super well.
So, Antrell, with a 16, I say he's reading you pretty decently. What are you feeling that he could pick up on?
This is just the old way of his being a soldier and being from the minion army. His hand on his weapon is a reflex because he's in unfamiliar territory, and he I think Antral knows that he's safe, but his body is betraying that, and it's kind of ingrained into him. So he can't help that his hand is there. It's just like almost subconsciously there.
Like the training.
Yeah.
So the soldier in you, Ormer, would recognize this as more instinct than actual concern.
Okay. Cool. I'm not gonna say anything. I'll just continue on with the rest of them.
Perfect. So Niru takes you out, and he... Pause. Almost went too ahead. Insight checks.
I got an 11.
11?
I got a 14 even
14
with advantage.
with advantage.
Oh, I
Intro?
didn't do
You get advantage, Kai.
Okay.
You didn't roll one intro? Okay.
natural 20.
Natural 20.
Hey, there we go.
Awesome. So we'll start with a 14. 14, Helene is not okay. You saw this a little bit after the assault on the encampment, when she had sort of... After you had, like, pulled her through the fence, you saw this a very similar look. Kaiseris with a natural 20. It's almost like Helene is having flashbacks. Or some sort of almost PTSD-like trigger. You saw this when she came back from unconsciousness in the encampment. And it's almost the exact same look as it was here. Maybe not quite as severe, but she's definitely struggling.
I'm gonna immediately go over to her and not make a big deal out of it, but just kind of stand close to her and just casually, like, as we're talking, just kind of put my arm or my hand on, like, her arm, just let her know I'm there.
I think it's gonna be one of those things where like we kind of like both come at her.
Do
Yeah.
what's up.
Oh God.
Yeah. But I rather than throw a hand at her, I'm going to try and get Helene alone. So I'm going to try and like separate her from Kaiseris
Good.
as Kaiseris is trying to be there.
All
for
right.
her.
Wow.
Okay.
I don't know what needs to be done for that. But
that's gonna be some
Duncan feels like they needs to have a sidebar.
inner party conflict. So, Kai, would you willingly let Duncan pull Helene to the side?
I'd kind of look at him and just be watching, but I don't think I'd fight back against it.
Okay, so you're able to sort of... Helene, are you going to fight Duncan pulling you aside?
No, but I do think I'll kind of like look at Duncan, and I think Duncan can like tell like Helene's seeing him, but
Okay.
isn't really registering.
Yeah, okay.
Helene, can I talk to you?
Yeah, of course.
I guess Kaiseris, do you mind?
No, it's all right. Do your thing.
And I kind of want to wait at least until like people are out of earshot.
Okay. So I'll go on with a little more exposition before I come
Yeah.
back to you. So Niru starts to walk away. Also, Ormer, you've seen war dogs before, specifically, with your time with the dwarves. But there is a smaller version of a war dog who will not leave you alone. Like, he has basically just leaned against your leg at every possible moment. And he looks up at you and, like, wags his tail.
Designation. Greetings.
Perfect. I love how Antrell's not going to tell him that his name is Prince. And so Nero starts to sort of walk out towards the middle of the encampment. And he turns and he goes, "We are not many, and my people are not builders." And he sort of like gestures at what you can now see is like a pile of like collected wood and like salvaged wood off by a sort of small pond. But we are trying to, damn it, we are trying to make a life for ourselves. Do you need sleeping arrangements?
That would be wonderful if you don't mind.
Yes, follow. And he'll sort of lead those of you who will follow over to the set of wagons that's just to the south of the little pond there. And he'll open up the back of the wagons and he starts to pull out like tents and like tent poles. And he starts handing them out to you. And he goes, "Apologies. How many? I do not know soft ones." And he sort of just like pokes Kai very gently, like almost in the tummy. But it's like this, it's not aggressive at all. It's just like he says soft and he just sort of taps your belly.
Giggles like the Pillsbury Doughboy. No. I mean, are the tents are the tents big enough that we could all sleep in one, or do we need separate ones?
They would be big enough for probably two of you.
Okay. I mean, I think we'll be all right with two of them. Lexi, do you need?
Oh, I'm all right, child. I'll sleep in my wagon.
All right. Yeah. Two. I'll start helping you set those up for.
Oh, very kind. Thank you. Ormer, this is your tent. Just yours. And he hands you, he hands you a new possession. You don't really have a lot of those at this point. And he hands it over to you and he goes, "Welcome home for as long as you wish it to be."
Thank you. I'd like to take the night to rest.
Yes.
Once I'm fully charged, we'll begin seeing how I can be of service to you all.
And he sort of puts his giant hand on your shoulder, and he looks at you and his head tilts just a bit and he says, "There is no service here, only safety. It takes time, but I think you will grow to like it. Come, we will set up your tents and sit about the fire and talk, perhaps."
Ormer will look toward Lexi, just kind of tilt the head to the side.
"All right, I'd love to hear about where you're from."
Very well then. I'll need help getting this set up.
"Oh, child, of course I'll help you. I'm sure you don't know how to do it." And she make an insight check for me. Kai and Antrell, you're over there as well. You can make it if you'd like.
Look at an insight.
Another 16.
16, solid.
13.
7. Antrell, you've never seen this expression on anyone's. And Lexi like looks, and she just looks so excitedly proud to be able to help Ormer. Like she's like, "Oh, I get to teach him something." Like she's got that little like excited fingies going on. And she sort of like reaches, like she puts her hand out towards you, Ormer.
Yeah, no, I don't. If she's on my left side, I'll move around so that way I can kind of extend my right hand to her.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I keep forgetting. And then she'll just like sort of rest her arm in yours and follow Niru. He leads you over towards the southern side of the tree line where there's a bit of room for more tents. And while you're setting up the tents, we will cut back to Helene and Duncan. Helene and Duncan, what are you doing?
Blade. When I tried to use my lay on hands on you the other night, it didn't work. There are only two reasons that lay on hands can't work. Those are constructs. You're undead, aren't you?
Of sorts. And you can tell like this is something she hasn't really talked about. Like it is just painful for her.
And based on what just happened in there, I'm guessing you haven't always been.
No, I haven't. Was given another chance to right some wrongs that I had done. And for that, I'm grateful. But I did not want to come back.
Right. And I just want to quickly look around and make sure there's like not anybody else here.
Yeah, go ahead and roll me a perception check.
That will be a 17.
As far as you're aware, there's no, I mean, you're sort of standing outside of like the hospital building, and you know there's
Right.
people in there, but it doesn't seem like anybody's listening to you.
Right. You see, because you haven't always been undead. I have. And I do a little nervous look, and I show my fangs.
Oh.
I'm telling you this because it's not easy. There are ways that people keep themselves going that undead can't. It's a different life.
That's the description I've heard.
I will do what I can. Let me know what you need. Because not everyone is going to be in your corner for this. But some will.
I don't know what I need. But just you being here. That's enough for now.
Right.
And I'll like kind of just like awkwardly go to embrace Duncan.
Oh, okay. Right. Yes.
Like just very like it's clear that she's like, ooh, this is This feels awkward, but
And then you kind of did it. You started hugging me in the way where like my hands were still like in front of me, so like I don't really have a way of doing it back. But it's just okay. Yes.
While you're doing this awkward dance, both of you go ahead and roll me perception checks, please.
18 this time.
18 and a 2. So, Helene, you are hyper-focused on trying to figure out how to get comfort from this moment. You know, you haven't really sought comfort from anyone in quite some time like this. And, Duncan, as you're being embraced by Helene, coming from the inside of the hospital building, you hear a sort of whooshing noise, like wind being sucked out of a room. And then you hear the creaking of wood, but it's multiple pieces of wood, like multiple people are getting out of bed at the same time.
To get out of the hug, I'm going to go. Let's see what's going on there.
Do you open the door?
Yes.
You open the door and you see that the 4 Warforged who are lying in bed here, the one that's closest to the door has sort of jolted over the edge of their bed and their head is down. And the other 3 are sort of clambering out of bed. And as the one that's directly in front of you, it's hard to see their face, but they sort of, their body sort of cracks. And it sounds almost like bone, which is not what you would expect from Warforged. And the head snaps back. And as it snaps back, you see that sprouting from the wood of this Warforged, there are these vine-like tentacles that have creeped out. And it looks at you and it makes this dreadful help me.
That's what we're
And
here
it
for.
starts to
Back to
reach
bed
towards
with you.
And I'm gonna need everyone to roll initiative, please.
Trying to protect
Love
Helene.
that for me.
Love
What
that.
brought Helene into a split the party? Ooh, fight. That'll be a 14.
14 for Duncan. Helene?
Are you sick?
6. Antral, that was, you got a 13?
Yep.
Okay, Kaiseris?
4.
And Ormer, you got a 13?
I got a 13 as well.
Perfect. Man, that's
Unfortunate.
truly. So the one that is reaching towards you, Duncan, you see that its hand, the palm of its hand sort of starts to be pried open by the more tiny vine-like tentacles. And it looks at you, and the light starts to fade from their eyes, and they say, "I'm so sorry." And you feel this burst of energy and light burst forth from their hand. I need you and Helene to make me a DC 14 charisma saving throw, please.
Charisma save. Okay. That's a 21.
21?
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Wonderful. This sort of like roiling, almost ethereal, but still nature. Like you see like vines and leaves sort of rupture from this roiling mass of light, comes slamming into the ground in between the two of you. And you're able to sort of cover your eyes and dodge out of the way before this effect hits you. Those of you who are at the south of the camp, you see this explosion happen. And Niru looks and he goes, "What are my children doing?" And he sort of panics a little bit. Ormer, you've never seen a Warforged respond in this way to an attack. And he sort of crumples just a little bit. And that is where we're going to take our break. We will be right back! Please make sure that you get yourselves a drink, take your meds, do a stretch, take care of yourselves. We love you so much, and we will be back shortly. Thank you! Hello, everybody. We are back. Thank you so much for that raid while we were gone, Cody. Sorry that you raided into a break scene, but, you know, self-care, gotta self-care. We are coming into the middle of a combat. These, y'all gotta stop. These, Warforged that are in the the Warforged that are in the hospital tent, there's something wrong with them, and one of them just attacked Duncan and Helene. The rest of the party noticed from across the encampment. And the first of these Warforged creatures just went, and that will bring us, we're going to jump right back into it. That'll bring us to Duncan.
Right. Okay. I don't know if I'll need to roll for this, but I want to know if the Warforged and what are attacking us are separate.
Okay, so like,
is this essentially like a parasite in the Warforged?
okay, I see. So
would helping the Warforged hurt them?
Okay.
Like that sort of thing.
I see. Okay. Yeah, roll me an insight check.
16.
16. From where you're standing and what you're seeing with this sort of transformation and the vines that are coming out of their body, it looks like they're being physically changed by something inside of them. Whether it's parasite doesn't seem fitting. You're not certain if helping them would get rid of whatever it is that's changing. You can make me give me an Arcana roll.
An Arcana roll. Okay. Appreciate you letting Duncan think this one out.
Yeah.
With a 3.
A 3. There is magic here. None of them looked like this before when you were in the medical building. They were just regular, slightly damaged Warforged. And as you're looking at them, you notice that where a lot of their broken pieces were seems to be where a lot of this is sort of protruding from.
Right.
But you would need a little bit more either medical or Arcana to be able to tell if you could stop this from happening without killing the Warforged.
Right.
And this one is beginning to crawl towards you.
Oh, because I have an idea, but it could be very bad for us if I do it that way.
What would you like to do?
Which means I should probably do it,
Okay.
right?
Do it.
So we're being attacked by these 4 Warforged. On 3 of them, I would like to cast Aid. Because I'm hoping that I can sort of flush this out by helping the Warforged.
Okay.
Aid, it would give them each their hit point maximum and current hit points would increase by 5.
Okay, so
I can only do it on 3.
how many which ones are you casting it on?
Whatever 3 are closest to me.
All
I
right,
think.
so
I'm
we'll
not gonna.
See.
Fortune favors the bold.
Fortune favors the bold.
And that's my initial thought is that this is something attacking the Warforged as much as is us. So
perfect. So you cast Aid, and the one that's in front of you is one of the ones that receives it.
Yeah.
And they look up at you, and you see as the light still sort of flickers it's not fully gone, but it's flickering. You see their head sort of cracks to the side, and as these viney tentacles sort of like stretch towards you, it sort of just says, "Help me."
Hold on. Keep it back.
Is there anything else you'd like to do for your turn?
That would be aid is an action, I believe. Can I back up a bit?
You
with
can.
It, or am
it has not gotten off of the bed yet, so you're not
Okay.
within attacking distance.
Yeah, I would like to back up, but I don't want to leave Helene exposed.
Okay. Helene's like, that's fine. So you want to bet how far back would you like to go?
Maybe just a bit, maybe like out of striking distance, maybe like 15 feet back.
That's a good number choice.
Yeah.
That's a good number choice that you chose. It's about 15 back. So you're currently about 30 feet total away from this first one here.
Okay.
Alrighty, and with that will bring us to Antrell. Antrell, I'm gonna go ahead and ping. So you guys are like, if you're looking at the map, you guys are like down in this area here. So measurement wise, you're probably about 80, 90 feet away from your friends who are being attacked, and that goes for Ormer as well.
Okay. And I have I seen what has just transpired? And
You
everything?
saw the explosion. Go ahead and
Yeah.
give me a perception check to see if you can see through the door.
That's a 6.
A 6. So you saw the explosion. You're pretty certain it came from the direction that it came from was inside of the medical building, but you can't tell like what it was.
Do I know that Duncan and Helene are over there though?
Yes, you do. Yeah, Duncan and Helene they stayed over there while you guys went to the wagons.
All right. That being said, I'm going to dash I'm going to dash over to their area.
Okay, full
My
speed.
friends are in danger, and
Yeah.
I must, go find what the hell happened.
Yeah, so as you approach, once you get closer to your friends with that full dash, what's your movement? Is that 60 with a dash?
60 with dash, yeah.
Okay,
it should be.
perfect. So you get within like 20 feet of the door, and you can see the warforged that were previously in these beds are starting to, like, at least the one that's right in front of the door you can see is like crawling towards, and there are these huge tentacle-like vines that are sort of starting to whip and lash out from its face.
Duncan! Helene! What's happening?
Good. Responding is a free action. You're muted.
You're muted.
Something bad is happening with the Warforged. They're being taken over by something.
It's bad. It's bad. It's really bad.
They have vines.
All right, and Intro hears that. Can't move any closer. His hand, which has been on the sword, now draws out the moon touch long sword as, okay, my friends are in danger.
Yeah.
Here comes the sword. Yeah.
Absolutely. So as you draw your moon touch long sword, the moon's glow emanates from this sword and lights you up like a little beacon. Yay! Is that everything that you would like to do?
That's all I can do right now.
Perfect. So the one of the ones in one of the farther beds, one of the ones that you aided, Duncan, its head sort of whips around, and you see that there aren't any tentacles coming from its face, but like there are vines creeping up it, and it's got these viney tentacles coming from its hands, and it begins to crawl its way across the building and to the door. And as it comes to the door, it looks at you, Duncan, because you're within range, and it whips out its hand at you. Let's see. I believe that a 21 is going to hit you.
Yes, it does. It's a fun game we play here.
Yeah. It just shouldn't, but it do. So you'll take 9 points of bludgeoning damage. And you are... go ahead and make me an athletics check, DC 14.
Athletics. Nat 1.
Nat 1. You are fully grappled by this creature's tentacles.
Yeah.
And it's going to try to... Helene, did you move? Like, did you shut? You didn't? Okay. It's going to try and whip out with its other hand. 18? Yeah, okay. Make me an athletics check while I roll your damage.
I don't wanna. My dice hate me tonight. Ooh, 19.
19. So you take 8 bludgeoning damage as it sort of smacks into your side, but you're able to wiggle your way out of the grapple. And as this one starts to sort of is trying to grapple you and is wrapping its vines and tentacles around Duncan, it looks at you and it goes, "Kill me. It hurts." And that'll bring us to Ormer. You're about 85 feet away from your newfound friends, Ormer. Lexi and Niru are both here by the tents, and they both look absolutely terrified.
Okay, 85 feet.
Mm-hmm.
The 2 that are out, because there's 2 that are now kind of pulling out of the tent.
That are coming out of the
starting
building.
to crawl out of the tent.
Yeah.
Are they lined up, or can I get them where they're lined up together?
Yeah, I mean, they're both sort of just coming out of the doorway, so you would have to be to the left or right of them to get them in a horizontal line.
Okay.
So you would have to come up to the building at an angle.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna spend a key point.
Okay.
To Step of the Wind, which will give me 80 feet. 80 feet.
Yeah.
As you watch as my boots kind of with lightning and just zoom there, super quick.
Fast as Warforged in the West.
And then, let's see. Do I want to do either do a cone or I can do a straight line?
A cone with a cone, you could get both of them.
I can get both of them. Okay, I'll do a cone then. So then you'll watch as red starts to pull up through the body. The mouth opens and just as just a giant flamethrower of dragon's fire comes spurting out of Ormer's mouth. I need I believe it's a dexterity saving throw. Let me double check. Actions. Yeah, dexterity saving throw, DC 14.
14. The first one fails. That's the one that doesn't have anyone grappled. And the second one also fails. So,
it's going to be 7 points of fire damage.
7. Very nice.
And then that's for my first attack. And then I will kind of like finger gun.
Uh-huh.
And a little dart is just going to shoot out of my hand.
Okay.
And that will be a 10.
10 will...
Whichever one is closest.
10 will miss.
Okay.
So the dart... you're having a hard time. You got lucky with the cone that you didn't hit Duncan, who was just out of reach of the cone, grappled by this creature. But everything's sort of flailing around, and you're trying not to hit Duncan as you shoot this dart, and it goes just a little bit wide. That will bring us to... Is that everything? Movement, bonus action, action?
Bonus action. Yeah, because the one other thing I wanted to do would have been action, so I'm not going to do it.
Okay, perfect. That'll bring us to Helene. Helene, you just got smacked by a tentacle vine.
Yeah, perfectly normal.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, jeez. Okay, so what I want to do, just to try and buy us some more time, is I have a bag of ball bearings.
Okay.
And so I want to take some of those out, or actually I'm just going to pour some of them out to try and make it like more difficult terrain for the Warforged, so they can't like come at us, essentially.
Absolutely. So you pour out these ball bearings, and it's what is it, DC 12 dex save to make it through ball bearings?
DC 10 saving throw.
Okay, perfect. Is there anything you'd like to do with your bonus action?
Let's see, my bonus action. What can I do? Fuck it. I guess I'm just going to oh god. I guess I'm gonna hide if I can.
Yeah, bonus action hide. Roll me a stealth check.
Oh god, please work with me, dice. Okay. Oh, okay. That's a 13.
A 13? So you sort of like duck to the side of the building? And...
Yeah, just trying to still be where I can see everything that's going on, but not being in direct line of sight of these Warforged.
Okay, perfect. That'll bring us to the next two of these creatures. They sort of both start to like pile at the door, and you can see them starting to like climb over each other. But they can't quite get within range of anybody, and one of them that's sort of on top of the other looks at you, and there's three of you who are sort of, or two of you, no, three, who are sort of like piled up. Antrell, Ormer, and Duncan are sort of in a similar area, and again, they're gonna sort of like, their hand gets pried open by these vines, and another large globule of energy shoots out from their palm. Go ahead and make me DC 14 charisma saves, please. Okay.
That is going to be another 21.
21, 8, and Antrell?
8.
Okay, 21, 8, and 4. You two are stunned. You can make me a con save at the beginning of your turn to try and be unstunned. But we will go from there. And that brings us to, last but certainly not least, Kai. You can see it now from where you're at. You can see these creatures sort of pouring out of this medical tent. Lexi and Niru are just... They're not... They look terrified. They don't look like they're going to be able to help at all.
Okay. I want to... Okay. So I am 90 feet away. I want to move up 30 feet.
Okay.
Get within 60 feet of one of these creatures, whichever one's closest.
You'd be the one probably grappling Duncan.
Yes. I'm going to cast Wither and Bloom.
Okay.
So yeah, it is... of your choice. Okay, so it's actually a 10-foot radius sphere, which I did not read ahead of time. So everything, I want to try to get as many as I can.
Yeah, you
in
can
that little
get
10-foot sphere.
In a 10-foot sphere. Honestly, you'll be able to get all 4 of them in a 10-foot sphere.
Okay.
Based on how they're piled up.
So this is me hoping that Kai knows how Warforged work. I didn't look it up because I didn't want to metagame it. So each creature of your choice within that area must make a Constitution saving throw, and it's DC 14.
Okay. What happens if they fail?
They take 2d6 necrotic damage, and non-magical vegetation in that area withers, which I know it's magical. But...
Yeah, but that's a strong one. All right, so we'll roll.
That's a cool...
I was like, plants, why not?
Yeah, okay, so D fails, B fails. That is a success and a failure. So 3 of them will take the full damage, and 1 of them will take half.
Cool. That full damage is gonna be 8. necrotic.
Points of necrotic
And I'm
damage.
hoping that it's just going to target the plants and not the Warforged themselves, but who knows? We'll see.
So that'll take 4.
And okay,
8.
Duncan would be within that area as well.
Yeah, Duncan is, well, it's a 15-foot reach, and Duncan was 15 feet back, and it's a 10-foot sphere, so Duncan would not be within the Wither and Bloom.
Okay, are any allies within the Wither and Bloom?
I don't believe so.
Okay, I didn't think so either. Cool. I was going to heal somebody if anybody in there was hurt, but I don't think anyone's.
Helene and Duncan have been hit so far.
Yeah, not like dying.
If you're
though,
healing,
maybe.
I will be fun and say that you can heal Duncan.
Okay, cool. I want to do that then. You can spend one of your unspent hit dice and heal right now.
I may as well do that. Where's one of
Benevolent
my
DM.
hit dice?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Should be my name.
Hooray.
Is your name?
Healed for 4.
For 4. Lovely. Is there anything else you would like to... actually, Kai, make me a perception check really quickly.
That is a... Oh, let me make sure. Yeah, 15.
15. So you see that the tentacles, the viney tentacles, start to sort of shrink, but you don't see any... you don't see as much damage being done to the actual body of the Warforged. You just see that these tentacle vines that are blossoming from these creatures starts to... just a little bit.
Perfect. I was desperately hoping that's how that works. Let me see what I can do is my bonus actions, but I think that's probably going to be... Yeah, I won't activate my Blade Song yet, so
okay.
I'll just chill here.
Perfect. Lovely. That will bring us up to the top of the round. This one that does not have Duncan grappled just got hit with that necrotic energy, and it's sort of like its body sort of roils internally, and it looks to Antrell, and it creeps forward to Antrell, and it's going to try and lash out at you. What's your AC, Antrell?
17.
17. Golly gee willikers. Oh my... I keep forgetting that Duncan's AC is not that. Wow, that's a big miss. And another big...
No, keep those. Keep
Yeah,
those.
we like
Yeah.
those.
Yeah.
Those are great.
Dungeon.
love
That's
I
for
don't
when
know.
you're a player. You're as a DM.
You
those
haven't
are in
seen it,
play.
Logan, but I have a literal dice jail that I put my dice in when I'm angry. Oh, yeah!
I have one, but it's being
It's
green
green
screen. It's being-
Chroma keyed out.
It goes to the
There it
void
is.
when you're like upset with
It's
it.
gone.
Yep.
I have a drawer that I just...
That
Get
also
in
is.
there. I love it. Okay, so that one's that one's turn. So let's go ahead and go to Duncan.
Duncan, all right. So I did try and help the Warforged on the last one, and I'm grappled now.
Yes.
And okay, I can still talk while I'm grappled, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Does that mean I can bite?
Damn it. Yeah. Yeah, it does.
Then I think with its, the vines around me, what I want to do, especially because I sort of am still trying to figure this out, I am going to extend my fangs and do a vampiric bite on the vines that are at me, hoping that I am just attacking, again, the
vines.
The vine thing, not the Warforged themselves.
Okay.
Let's see if it hits.
Yeah.
That would be a dirty 20.
That'll hit.
Okay. So. And. Not for much. That is going to be for 5 piercing damage.
Okay, that's. And that does it though.
And I would like to empower myself with it, which will only work if it is not a construct or undead.
The vines are neither.
Okay. So great. I then am going to make my
Solve
second
my
attack. Yeah, my second attack, and that one gets the empowerment with it. So that is going to be a 16 to hit.
That'll hit.
Okay. Again, not a whole lot of damage. That'll be 6 piercing damage. Oh, and you know what I just remembered? I'm a paladin, baby.
Oh no! Are you smiting with your teeth?
I am smiting with my teeth.
No.
As this like radiance comes out of my mouth as I fight him the second time.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was so 6 piercing, and I'm going to also re-empower myself with that because I don't believe that takes anything extra
No,
to
I
do.
think you can just do that.
Yeah, and my divine smite. Let's put it in. Just 2d8. We'll just use a first level spell slot for that. Yeah. It's also going to take 15 radiant damage.
Incredible. So this, and you feel the vines that are grappling you release on your second bite, and you watch as they sort of like writhe and writher from this creature's face, and they sort of start to like twitch before they begin to lash out again. Well done, Duncan. That is, the vines themselves, especially after that smite, look very, they look smaller than they did before. And they look like they can't quite reach as far.
And just to, the last thing I'll do on my turn is I'm just going to yell out, hold them back, Warforged!
I love it. Okay, perfect. And that'll bring us to Antrell.
Okay. The one that attacked me, how close were they to me? They whipped out, right? Were they?
They're about
within
15 feet from you.
Cool. We're gonna travel up to them.
Okay.
As we're traveling, I'm going to bonus action fighting spirit.
Love it.
For inherent advantage. What's visible on this? I see the vines, right? Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So this one, the one that you are currently closest to, it's got vines that are coming sort of out of its hands, more so than anywhere else. You can see some that are starting to travel up its face, but
Okay.
the prominent vines are in its hands.
Okay. That being said, I see the ones that are on its face though. And I want to take. Well, I'm going to take a strike at the. At this Warforged.
Okay.
It's a terrible idea, but
Are you striking at its face?
I'm striking at its face.
'Kay.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, that thank God for advantage,
Mm,
because that's a 24 to hit.
The 24 will do it.
Okay, cool. So that first attack is 5 points of slashing. We're gonna slash, and we're slashing specifically at those vines on the face.
On the face. Okay, with the 24, I will allow it.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So there's that. I'm gonna take a second attack and try to do the same thing one more time.
Okay.
25 to hit.
Okay, with the 25, I will allow the vine specific.
Cool. And that'll actually be 7 points more of slash.
Ooh, slashy.
Yes.
Very nice. Solid turn. So you slash, and you're a little bit more careful than you usually are, aiming specifically for the vines that are creeping up this creature's face, and you slash off a couple of vines, and you see the Warforged's head starts to like roll free, not in the creepy like twitchy way, but in like a like it looks like it's taking a breath.
Okay. I have no other actions I can take, so that ends me right now.
Okay, perfect. That will bring us to the one that Duncan just beat. You know what? I'm going to roll a wisdom saving throw for this guy. So you see the lights flicker in its eyes, Duncan. And it's dropped you now. But you see it sort of like the lights flicker for a moment. And it's trying to say something. It's trying to get something out, but it can't quite get it out before the lights go out again, and it lashes out at you again with the tentacles. Where are all my D20s? They're in jail. That's where. Okay. So your AC's 10 or 12?
13.
It's 13! Ah! They miss you with the first one. Here I was thinking it was a 10. And miss you with the second one. So you see that there's this internal struggle going on. Like, you've called them to fight against this, and you can see that they're trying so hard to the point where it lashes out its arm at you, and its other arm sort of, like, tries to grapple itself with the tentacles, and they just come up short of smacking you in the face. Okay, that'll bring us to Ormer. Helene's on deck.
I am stunned.
Yes, so make me a con 14 saving throw, please.
Okay, let's do it. At 15.
A 15! You are unstunned. So you feel the light sort of dancing around in your eyes. And you've just been hit by this wave of magic. Make me a history roll.
History.
This is free, has nothing to do with your action economy.
16.
16. You have seen this before, Ormer. In your battles on the Dawnfall continent, you have seen your brethren turned against you by the elves in very, very similar ways to this. You know that you can either kill the body of the Warforged to end this, or you can cleanse the tentacles, and then you have to try and dispel the magic somehow to get the tentacles out of the body.
Okay. Do I still have my turn?
You
Like,
do,
was
absolutely. That was just a free
full
action.
turn.
Yep.
Cool. I'm going to. What's it look like in front of me? Like, is it, because I know Duncan's there, and then is he immediately in front of one, and then Antrella's in front of another one?
Yeah, so you've got the two that came out first, and they're sort of lined up together. You're off to the right-hand side, sort of closer to the edge of the building. Those two are engaged with Duncan and Antrell, and then you have the two behind that haven't fully made it out of the building, but they're just there. So they're pretty clumped up. They're all within 5 feet of each other.
Okay. How badly do I want my new friends to hate me? Not enough. No, I don't want to make you guys. No, we're good. Okay. Yeah, let me double check what this feat does real quick. That didn't help. D&D Beyond. Come on, give me the answer. Okay. Okay, cool. I'm gonna try to get in between, like, the backside of the one that Duncan's fighting.
Okay.
And then near the one, like, in between the one that Duncan's fighting and the one that Antrell is fighting.
I'll allow it. There's enough room for you.
Cool.
Make me... Are you trying to just, like, wedge yourself through? Or are you trying to jump into it?
Either wedge myself... Ooh, no, I would jump.
I will allow either acrobatics or athletics, your choice.
I'm gonna acrobatics that,
Okay.
because I have a -1 athletics. Yeah, that'll be a 24.
24, easy. you're the rest of the party sees Ormer, who just seconds ago was 90 feet, like literally 12 seconds ago was 90 feet away from you guys, has now made it up into the fray and very easily just sort of flips their way into the middle of this fight.
And then I'm gonna take my arm and I'm gonna go like this, and like manifesting and like starting to come out of my the one thing that I didn't describe that's like the most important thing of my character.
You're okay.
He has a belt that's really more of like, he wears it like a bandolier, that is almost pure dragonhide, and then he is going to just kind of punch once to the right at the one that Antrell's fighting, punch once to the left at the one that Duncan's fighting, and then we'll flurry of blows and try to do a split kick.
Oh, yeah. All right. Let's roll those attacks, baby.
Okay.
We'll start with Duncan.
Okay. Duncan won, and as he's punching, the fist starts to light up white, and then the hand just, there's tons of shards of ice and like crystallized ice. That one's going to be a 22 to hit.
That will hit.
For 6 points of cold damage.
Ooh, okay. You see some of the tentacles that are coming out of this one's face start to freeze.
Okay, and then I'll swing around a backhand with same thing with the cold.
Okay. Same one?
No, this one's toward the one that Duncan's fighting.
Perfect.
And that'll be a 13 to hit.
That will just miss. So you're just... you swing with that backhand and you miss it by centimeters. It's...
And then instead of jumping and kicking, I'm gonna flip around to my hand and do one of those like spiral windmill kicks.
Nice.
So I'll hit one with, and with that it'll just be a whirlwind of fire. So these will both be fire damage.
Okay, perfect.
So one is going to be a 18 to hit.
18 will hit.
Against, we'll say that one's against the Antrell.
Okay.
For 5 points of damage, fire damage.
Okay.
And then against Duncan, that'll be a 22 to hit.
That'll hit.
Not against Duncan, the ones Duncan's fighting.
Yeah.
Unless you want to be instant.
It's inevitable betrayal.
Because you're sudden but inevitable
I've been
betrayal.
waiting all of an hour and a half to fight you. No, for 6 points of fire damage.
Perfect. So with that, with the 6 points of fire damage to the one that Duncan has been fighting, specifically, you're able to kick at the tentacles with this, and you watch as initially frozen, the fire creeps up the tentacles from where your foot found purchase, and in this sort of flash they burn away, and this warforged crumples to the ground.
And then I'll just kind of look over my shoulder, and if you wish these to live, target the vines or naturey things. I don't know words. Not my designation.
I love Ormer.
And that's my turn.
Perfect. Helene.
Yeah. I guess hearing that, Helene's gonna go ahead and kind of rush in. Which one is still up? Who's it by?
So there is one that is currently engaged with Antrell that looks pretty damaged.
Okay.
There are two more that are sort of like fumbling out the door.
Okay. I'll go ahead and go for the one by Antrell, again, trying to target with my daggers.
Okay.
So pulling those from my sort of like wristbands, and I'm gonna try and get... Let's see. Ooh, okay, that's a... Hold on. How do I do math? 22 to hit.
That will absolutely hit.
Lovely. Oh, and would I get sneak attack?
You would get sneak attack because Antrell is engaged with it.
Amazing. Let me roll. Okay, hold on.
Also, Ormer, real quick, you noticed that the fire seemed to be pretty effective against the vines. Duncan, because it was engaged with you, you also notice.
Thank you.
So that is 8 piercing, and then roll my sneak attack. Ooh, that is 16.
brutal. So from the shadows, you pop out and come up on the one that Antral is fighting, and slicing at its hands with your daggers, with a quick, like, you're able to slice off the majority of the vines that are left on this creature. There's just a couple left that are sort of like creeping down its arm and a couple up its face. Is there anything else you would like to do? You got a bonus action?
I'd like to go ahead and bonus action. I'll go ahead and hit it again with my different dagger. Oy, that's a natural 1.
Oof.
So it definitely hits, right?
Roll your damage for me, though.
I don't wanna. Okay. 5 piercing.
5 piercing. So you go to sort of slice at the rest of the vines that are on this creature. Are you aiming for the face or the hand?
Probably the hand.
The hand. So you go to slice at the remaining vines on this creature's arm and hand, and it just jerks out of the way, and your dagger does find purchase, but it finds purchase in the arm of the Warforged, not in the arm of, or not in the vines itself, and you hear this sort of like coming from the Warforged's mouth. Is there anything else you would like to do, Helene?
Like cry? No, that's it.
Staying
just
engaged.
right in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for this one, I'm gonna roll another wisdom save. It's going to fail. So, you see, like, what Duncan saw, where this one that you just attacked is trying so hard to fight against itself. And it looks at you, and it says, kill me or fix me, pick one! And it lashes out at you with one of its, attacks, but you're, like, right up close to it. So... that is going to hit you. Ooh, for 12 points of bludgeoning damage.
I would like to go ahead and use Uncanny Dodge.
Have that?
To have that, yeah.
Okay, and then it flicks its head back towards Antrell, who is also still engaged with it. And it's going to try and hit you as well with the vines. It's going to miss. How unfortunate that the way that turned out.
Question for you.
Yes.
Is Helene within... The creature's within 5 feet of me, and it took an attack against Helene, right?
It did!
Can I take... I'll take my reaction
Yes.
to make an attack against those vines.
Yep, absolutely. And Ormer?
Can I as well? Because I have the Sentinel.
You both have Sentinel. Oh,
Wait.
God. Yes, perfect. So
It
we're
was
going to
meant to be.
we'll resolve Antrell's first and then let you go.
They both miss.
They
There's
both
a 10
miss?
Aw.
Yeah.
Okay, Ormer, try and hit.
Yeah, let's see. That one will be my foot. I'll like swing around with the foot again. So that'll be a 19
That'll hit.
for 4 points of fire damage.
Okay, very good. You see that the flame shoots up again from where your foot found purchase, and it travels like underneath the metal pieces of this warforge, and you can see it crackle across the wooden pieces, but all of the vines burn up and this one crumples to the ground. There are 2 left, and they're the ones who are sort of like in the door, and they haven't really been engaged with quite so much. And that'll bring us to one of them. So they are going to roll a wisdom save. They succeed. Oh, awesome. So you see the one that's sort of like underneath the other comes crawling out across the ground. And it looks up at all of you. And it sort of grasps at its own like throat with these hands that are sprouting all of these tentacles, and there are more that are coming out of its mouth, and it goes around the vines. It sort of goes, I don't know what's wrong with me. But it looks like it's able to hold itself at bay. Caceres, you are far-ish away, but not far enough away to where you wouldn't see any of that. Like, you've seen and heard all of this. It's been very loud.
Yeah. Okay. So I was within 60 feet of one.
Yeah, you'd be about like 65 feet. You'd only have to move another 10 or so feet to get back into that 60-foot range.
Cool. I'm just gonna go ahead and activate my blade song.
Perfect.
Just to get my bonus in movement. Sorry, my dog is very needy right now.
It's okay.
Have any of the two remaining? They have not taken damage from anyone, have they?
They have, but
This
not
turn?
much. Not this turn. No.
Not this turn. Okay, that's what I was trying to get at, because I have a thing if they did. In that case, I am not going to activate my blade song yet. Sorry.
Nope, you're fine.
I'm gonna scoot up as far as I can, so 30 feet,
Okay.
and then I'm just gonna firebolt one of the vines
Okay.
as best I can. Just
Very
because that's the only
good.
ranged thing I have.
Yeah, absolutely. Make me an attack roll.
That is a 17.
Okay. That will hit.
and that
Are you
is-
rolling to the left or to the right?
Me? Oh,
Yeah.
we'll say left.
Left? Okay, cool.
And
Firebolt.
then that is, I do 2d10 now for 9 damage.
Woohoo! Very nice. So you see the flames again lick up this creature's face, and sort of across its body and under its armor as they start to consume these tentacles that are coming out of this creature's, this warforged's body. Is there anything else that you would like to do?
I'll just yell, "Fireworks, pretty good, huh?" And then that's my turn.
It does. You see, like it. With that, you're used to that doing like a little bit of damage, but it seemed like it really impacted these tentacles. Perfect, and that'll bring us to the top of the round with the one that you just attacked. So it is going to fail its wisdom saving throw. So you hear this sort of like scream come from this creature, from this warforged, and it's this mix of like ethereal and warforged that comes out of its mouth. Before it sort of like rolls its head and looks around, and it looks at Ormer, who's just the closest. And it comes like barreling towards you. Because it's taken damage, its reach isn't as good, so it's going to try and smack you. It will be within 5 feet of you now. Now that I know that 2 of you have Sentinel, I have to track that. So what's your armor class, Ormer?
17 is my armor
Okay,
class.
so it'll miss with the first one. You're able to quickly dodge. Swear.
Didn't even finish
Love
the
that
sentence. I love it.
I
Oh my-
plan these cool encounters, and then my dice just do me so dirty. So it whips out at you with both of its arms, and you can tell again that it seems like it's fighting against itself. Like, as it whips with its tentacles, its head is pulling away from you, like it's trying to go back into the medical tent. And it misses both times. And that will bring us to Duncan with Antrell on deck. So
Okay.
there's one that is fully on Ormer, and there's another one that hasn't really fully made it out, like past. He's outside, but not past that sort of barrier there.
Okay. All right. The one that's not past the barrier. Do I have enough movement to make it to him?
Absolutely, yeah. You're like within like 15, 20 feet of it.
Okay. I have things that I'd like to do.
Okay.
So, I want to first attempt to shove it prone.
Okay.
I'm trying to
That
get a little
is-
advantage in the mix here.
For sure. That
So-
is an opposed athletics.
Okay. And hey, look at that. I'm empowered from a bite I did.
Oh, that's right. What'd you get?
28.
thought I was all cocky with my 18.
So Duncan like is essentially just like shoulders back, paladin mode, getting towards that thing and gives it a good front thing to the ground. And essentially then I am going to I'm gonna get down and no. I gotta get the order of this right first.
Yes, you do.
The first thing that I do is after I shove him, I run my tongue over my teeth, channeling divinity for a poison strike.
Okay.
Poisons. Well, let's see how the attack roll
You
goes.
have
first.
advantage because you've pushed them prone.
Yes, I do. That is going to be a 16 to hit.
That will hit. Because it's not a direct hit, you will be able to target the tentacles exclusively.
So yeah, I am fully. I've pushed him down around my tongue. I lunge down. And I bite him first for, let's just make it be known that was 8 piercing damage.
Oh boy, okay.
The poison strike, because I have advantage, is 20 plus my paladin level poison. So that is going to be 25 poison damage.
Beef.
Wow.
Beef.
Wow. Wow. Billy? You watch as you sink your teeth into this vine. The poison seeps from your teeth, and you watch these black sort of tendrils like creep out around the vines, like veins crawling up their way, and it starts to shrivel and sort of suck back down. What else would you like to do?
Did they look entirely sucked back down?
Not very close.
Cool, then I'm gonna make sure that I'm getting a smite on there.
Yeah, why wouldn't you, right? Because you can smite and poison strike at the, yep.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Okay.
it's just when I hit in addition.
Level 5.
Yeah. So give that another 12 radiant damage, please.
Oh my god. So y'all, you see as you bite into this thing, you watch the sort of veins of poison creep up these tentacles, and you notice that they're not fully retracting as much as you would like, and you empower yourself with smite, and you watch as the holy energy follows the same veins up these tentacles, and everything just sucks back into this Warforged's body, and they just sort of fall limp.
Going to be all right.
There's one left. Amazing. Amazing. I'm afraid to ask you if there's anything else that you would like to do.
No, I do not believe I have. I think I only have a reaction left.
Okay.
And I don't really have anything to do with that.
Okay, perfect. That'll bring us to Antrell.
There's one more left. The tentacles are all over it, right? Or are they...
Yeah, they're starting to recede, but they're definitely still very prominent.
I heard Kai yell that fire seems to work, right?
Yes,
Did I hear that?
You did.
Are there any fire sources at that hospital that are visible to me or in that vicinity? Like a torch, perhaps?
There are torches outside. Mm-hmm.
Can I go and... Damn, am I allowed to grab a torch to try and hit the vines with it, knowing that fire works?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. I would
Grab
like
a
to
torch.
do that. I'm going to grab a torch and with a lit torch strike at the vines because, well, maybe a sword might be too much.
Okay. So improvise. So let's say strength plus proficiency because it's a torch.
Oh, math is gonna be terrible for me right now. So my strength is
flat d20, strength plus proficiency.
flat d20. Wait. Is it too late to pop Fighting Spirit, by the way?
No, I'll allow it.
I'm so sorry.
No,
Pawn.
you're so fine. Are you adding your bonuses to that? What's your strength and your proficiency?
Let's see. Strength is a +3, so it was a 9. And then, yeah.
Can you?
It's not gonna hit. It's not gonna hit.
No, it's not. But can you roll the damage? We'll say 1d6 fire damage.
1d6 fire damage. Okay.
A 1. Lovely. Lovely, 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 lovely. So you
Big bad Menian soldier.
just trying to
I tried.
I love it. That's fantastic. Yeah. So you hit this creature in the back basically with a torch, and you're aiming for the tentacles, but you get Warforged instead. And so you watch as there's like a scorch mark left across the wood in the back of this creature, this Warforged here. I love it.
Okay. Antrell, did the Warforged scream or anything as I hit it?
Yeah. So basically it you hear like the almost mechanical voice of the Warforged say, "Why?" And is there anything else you'd like to do?
I would have action surged, but because of what happened in the previous episode and Antrell hearing those screams, he hesitates and does not go. I'm not going for the action surge because of that.
Fair enough. So you see your minion fighter hesitate for the first time. Kai, Helene, and Duncan. You watch as he goes to bring it up again and then steps back. Not a full step, just a little hiccup. Ormer. There's one left. It is currently engaged with Antrell. It's behind you to the right.
Move this plague from you, brother. And I'll just pop.
Okay.
With the fire fists.
Perfect. With the fire fists, roll me those attacks.
First one's going to be a dirty 20.
That'll hit.
For 9 points of fire.
Okay.
The second one's going to be 15.
That will just hit, so you will get a little bit of the Warforged in there. But you will get the vines as well.
7 points of fire damage.
Okay. Nope, you're good. Do you have one more attack?
Yeah, and then I can do unarmed strike an unarmed strike as a bonus action. So that's a 19 for a 25.
That will absolutely hit, yeah.
For 5 points of fire damage.
Very, very nice. So with your just absolute quickness with your fire fists, you watch, you sort of punch to get the rest of the tentacles and focus your target there. And then you turn with the last one in a bit of a flurry. You came here for peace, Ormer, and you found war again. And you swing back and strike them across the face. And as you strike them across the face, they're already starting to fall. And you leave, like, you know when you hold a flame to metal and it darkens, you leave a streak of black across their face as you punch them this one last time, and they fall to the ground. everyone has been cleansed. Well, sort of.
Are we out of initiative?
We
at
are
this
out of
point?
initiative, yeah.
I would like to stand up and immediately where is Niru?
Niru is still back at the tents, and he's sort of like huddled down with Lexi.
I want to go to him, and I want to go with that stance and power flowing through me still.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to stand over him and just very like sternly and intensely at the doorway. What did you do to replace their parts?
I have done nothing. We were waiting for supply carts to arrive. There are pieces on the wagons. This was not me.
Can I insight that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Normally I have a -1 insight, but I'm empowered,
That's right.
so I have a +7.
Jesus.
23.
All right, with a 23, when he says this was not me, it was not him, but he's not being completely honest.
You're going to want to tell us the whole truth on that.
I am sorry. And he sort of pushes himself up, and you hear like the groan of wood as he pushes himself up from this sort of defensive position that he's taken over Lexi, although he didn't help at all with the fight. And in his big lumbering steps, he goes over to near one of the fires, and sort of picks up a torch and starts walking back to the medical tent before replacing the one that Antrell took. And he starts to scoop up the bodies. And as he scoops it up, he simply just says, I trusted the wrong person. They said they could help us, but they tried to hurt my children instead. And he looks down at the Warforged in his arms, and if a Warforged could cry, he would be crying.
You trusted an elf.
And he looks directly at you, Ormer, and he goes, one of the mages. And he sets the body in the bed and lumbers back out. Everything is very slow about Niru. And he scoops up another one. They came with a supply cart and assured me they could save my children, and that they wanted nothing in return.
What did they
That's
look
what trust
like?
gets you.
Sorry.
It's okay. It is hard for this one to tell faces of the soft ones, but the
Right.
ears, they wore dark, soft clothes, but no symbols.
Did they happen to give you any names or anything?
The name they gave me, I fear, was not truth.
Perhaps not, but it could give us a lead.
True. The name they gave me was but one, and it was funny for a softling. It was knit.
Knit?
Should have known not to trust. The horses did not like him. But I was desperate to save my children.
Of course, it makes perfect sense. You shouldn't blame yourself. Pardon me for asking this. Can Warforged smell? Was there a particular scent?
I have some sensors. Why do
Was
you
there
ask?
a particular scent with this person?
Soft, like flowers, but uncomfortable like war. After war, the field.
Decay.
Death. And
Helene will go pale once again because that is the theme of this session.
Just me targeting Helene.
Yeah, literally.
Warmer.
You allowed an elf, knowing the history of our kind against them, to aid you. What did you say your designation was during the war?
I was mostly supplies. I have a hard time remembering. And you see, like, as he tries to look back, you see that there's a faint flicker in his chest. And his head sort of ticks very gently. I was supposed to guard people, but I failed. I failed here too. Please allow me to tend my children.
Do you know the proper procedures in which to cure this?
No. no. And you can tell that, like, the more that he talks, the more his voice starts to glitch. And he starts to sort of stumble over his words as he's scooping them up. Please fix them. They trusted me.
Warmer the entire time. His body, since he's woken up, has been kind of like more like looser, not like more of just like hanging and like life is just gone very, very rigid at this point. And he'll almost just like heel click and turn toward everybody else. Are any of you practitioners in the arcane arts?
I am.
Do you know any magics that would be able to dispel other magical effects?
Well, about that, I never really got around to learning that one.
I'm going to turn back around. Then unfortunately, there is no cure. They need to be terminated.
I mean, if you
Let's not get hasty.
time, I can learn. I need to find somebody to teach me. It won't take me too long. I just got to write it in my book, make some notes on it.
Would I know the like regestation period of this?
No, probably not.
Okay.
But because I'm a benevolent DM and because I've really enjoyed utilizing these, I am going to make a luck roll for you guys. Because you came in on a supply cart. So, 10 or below, sad.
Or below is a no.
11 or above, happy.
11 or above, we get some love.
Yes. From the back of the camp, sort of approaching very slowly, is Lexi. And she goes, well, I've got some items and things in the cart that you could look through. If you want to see. Obviously these people need them, but I've got no magic, just my hands, but I can tend to these people. I'm not a doctor, but I'm a mother. Was a mother, and I can do what I can.
Probably also got a little left in me today as well.
I'll go look through what you have and see if there's anything we can use.
All right then, that sounds like a good plan. And you see Nero comes out after having placed the last of the Warforged back in their beds, and he goes, time. About a week since the elf left. Said he was coming back, but didn't.
It's okay. Rest.
I'm so sorry. And that's where we're going to end our session. The feelings. Thank you, audience, for all the wonderful love that you've given us during this. Thank you so much, Cody, for the raid, and all of the chatters for following along. I hope that Logan will be rejoining us for our second episode here in Camp Nourishment. Before we sign off, we're going to go ahead and go around the table and say who we are, where we can be found. I'm going to start with Logan this time because he got a late introduction.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Thank you all for watching. I'm Logan, the innkeeper over at the Red Hair Inn. You can find us on all the socials at the Red Hair Inn. We do D&D homebrew content, have a long-standing campaign, the Icarium Expeditions, and then a couple smaller mini-series and one-shots that will be planned for months ahead. So come on in and chill and vibe with us. We're a good time, and don't terminate all of the Warforged, I promise. But yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited to see where this goes.
I am so excited to have you, and thank you so much for rolling along with us. Let's go to Andrew, not Antrell.
One in the same, to be perfectly honest. Hi, everybody. Andrew J. Alandy here, aka Duralath. You can find me Twitter and Instagram at Andrew J. Alandy. Again, my pronouns he, him. Again, thank you all for hanging out with us and continuing to support the Initiative Order and all of the wonderful, wonderful performers, artists, and players that are on here. Coming up for me, I know when I'm not here on Wednesdays, I'm on twitch.tv/that_D'Angelo for the Tayar campaign. And this Friday, actually, I'll be part of a panel happening at WonderCon, which is happening this weekend, talking about the strategies that we use to help build community in tabletop RPGs. So I'll be on that panel with my partner Utahime Cosplay, as well as a couple of others, and it's headed by Caffeinated Dan. So if we'll be posting up more about it. Hopefully there'll be a live stream for it. But beyond that, folks, again, thank you so much, and I love you all.
We love you too, Andy. Billy.
Hi there, I'm Billy. You can find me usually on Twitter at @thebillyseguire is the social that I'm most active at. You can buy my Doctor Who book at obversebooks.co.uk. If you enjoy reading all about what the episodes mean and what the little hidden tidbits of fun little criticism things are in there, I'm the worst at describing it. There's also a wealth of podcast episodes out there that I've participated in. Google my name. You'll find them. Super fun tonight. Pond, thank you for letting me play a character who can do 45 damage in one.
That was it. That was so wild.
So godlike.
And
It was so
poison
awesome.
and radiant. Ugh.
With an attack that
Love
usually
it.
does a D4.
It blew me out of the water. I was so surprised. Well done, dearest Duncan. Let's go to Corey. Who are you? Where can we find you?
Oh, I am Corey. I use she, they pronouns. You can find me on Twitter, lovedays_. That's LOV, by the way. I can usually be found here every other Wednesday. And yeah, I'm just trying to get through my senior year, folks.
Yeah. Sorry for the clicky clackies. Carly.
Hi, the other half of the brain cell.
The other half of the brain.
I'm Carly. I use any pronouns. I am at CarlyBug on everything, CRLYBUG. And I have some stuff coming up, possibly eventually at some point. I don't know. I'm working on things. So yeah. For now, I'm just chilling here every other Wednesday. So yeah.
We're super glad to have you here.
Yes, I'm super glad to be here. I love you guys.
We love you so much. I am your benevolent game master, rule of cool lover. I am Pond Plays. You can find me on Instagram at Pond Plays Games. I'm also on Twitter, but I'm not very active. You can find me every Monday over on Feywild and Out, where I'm running yet another campaign, different characters, much chaos. It's a great time. You, starting at the beginning of April, you will find me over at Architect Loom here on Twitch on Tuesdays, where I am playing in a campaign. Yay! You can find me here every other Wednesday, where I am running this. We only have 2 episodes left before the season finale, so
number gets smaller and smaller, and that's
Well, it
not
was 3 at the beginning of the
way.
game, and then now it's 2 because we did our our first.
Oh.
That's
I
how
know.
numbers work.
That's how numbers happen.
I don't want them to work like that.
Right. But yeah, you can find me here every other Wednesday where I run this wonderful campaign with these wonderful people that I love so, so dearly. And you can also find some shenaniganry on Twitter that I almost forgot about at Nysis Contention over on Twitter. Memes and story and fun stuff abounds over there. It is ran by our 2 most chaotic party members, Corey and Carly. I occasionally pop on there when I have the time. But I hope you all have an absolutely wonderful evening. We're going to try our best to do a raid. If we can't succeed in a raid, we're going to host the channel. But our lovely friends over at Blackwater D&D are doing a huge charity stream right now. So we're going to go ahead and go support them with our love. So make sure that you either stay in chat or head over to... Let's see. Can we get a shout out for Blackwater D&D in chat? Oh, we're rating them. Heck yeah, it succeeded.
Yeah.
Thank you so much to our lovely tech team behind the scenes. You're so wonderful. But go ahead and make sure that you give yourself a hug, take care of yourself, and go support our wonderful friends. Thank you so much for supporting us. We love you, and we cannot wait to see you until next time. Avoid emotional damage, I guess. We love you.
And fire.
And fire.
And
Bye.
fire.
And fire.
And poison.
Bye.